who is on board and watching us right now, speaking on personal leadership or cost of success. Just like he said, success is the desire of everyone, and success is founded by God. God is the author of success. God wants us to succeed. In the book of John chapter 1, Joshua chapter 1, verse 8, it says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth." It now says that you will meditate on it day and night. And then you observe to do according to all that is written therein. Then afterwards, you will have good success. So God's intention is for his children, is for us to have success. God is the author of success. When God starts a thing, he accomplishes it. When Jesus Christ came, he said, "I must work the works of him that sent him while it is day. The night comes when no man can walk." So Jesus was conscious of succeeding about his goal. And success simply means accomplishment of goals. All right. We'll be talking about goals because you can't talk about leadership without talking about goals. Goals are essential to leadership. So we shall be talking about that also. Excuse me. So God is the author of success, but success doesn't come without a cost. In fact, it was Bishop David Ewood that said that whatever offers you value must cost you something. So success is not free, and success is not also cheap, but it is affordable. Success is also achievable by anyone, all right? Because the cost of success is universal. Other things being equal, Pythagoras theorem says that the square of the opposite side and the square of the adjacent, the sum of the two will always be equal to the square of the hypotenuse, provided it is in right angle triangle. So once the angle is right, other conditions will also be fulfilled. And that is what I want to say briefly. God is also author of success. God is not against success. It is his desire to serve. It is his desire. It is his longing for us to succeed. It doesn't give God any joy when we don't succeed. And success is all encompassing. Success is not limited to having money alone. Many people, and we must be able to define these things in perspective. You remember the holistic definition of prosperity in the book of 3 John. Is it 3 John or 1 John when he said that I wish above all things that you prosper? Okay, I think 3 John. And then as you are doing well, he wants also to, as you are doing well spiritually, God wants us to prosper and to succeed externally. So we must pursue holistic success, spiritual success, and then this event is well packaged. We are going to be seeing success in every dimension. But today's discussion is centered on leadership, personal leadership. What is leadership? There are different definitions of leadership by leadership experts. I remember the last time I was here, I said Miles Monroe has his own version of leadership. John Maxwell has his own version of leadership. John Maxwell will just say that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So anyone who has ability to influence others, you are already leading. Okay. And but I love to define why I don't dispute all those definitions. And I don't stand in any way to dispute. I accept those definitions. But you can come up with your own definition from experience, from your personal dealings, from your personal growth, and then from your exposures. I simply define leadership as taking responsibility. That means there is something to respond to. There's an issue, there's a situation that needs either a solution or orderliness. So a leader takes responsibility to ensure that things are in order. And I love this personality in the Bible. His name is Nehemiah. Anytime I speak on leadership, he is my model of leadership among many others. Now, Nehemiah saw a need, and then he harnessed his potentials, he harnessed his resources, and he responded to that need. Maybe some of us might not know the story, but for the sake of some of us who don't know the story, Nehemiah was in a foreign land. He was a fugitive. That is, he was kidnapped from his own city and taken to another country. So he now heard where he was, that he was serving king. He now heard that some people have come to destroy his own city. But because of the love he has for his own city, he sat down, and the Bible said that he wept for many days. He didn't only weep, he mourned. He only mourned. He also fasted. He didn't only fast, he also prayed. But he didn't only pray. He stepped into action. So can you see those steps now? So coming from personal leadership, before you respond to something on the outside, there's something inside you or inside of you that is responding to that external issue or external event. So that thing inside you is what makes your personal leadership. The blind cannot lead the blind. You cannot lead the people to where you have not been yourself. So ability to be somewhere else, first of all, is personal leadership. Okay, in another dimension, personal leadership simply means personal development. That is anything you can do for yourself to get yourself prepared for the task to lead others. It is a personal leadership. That means you have, first of all, equipped yourself with the necessary potentials, with the necessary tools, with the necessary equipping that will make you suitable and make you ready to lead on the outside. And that is personal leadership. Now, a few things to note about personal leadership regarding or with respect to the cost of success. Personal leadership has to do with you sitting down first. You have to sit down first and have a conversation with yourself. Who am I? What do I have? Why am I existing? Where am I going? What are the things I possess? Not many people have taken time to sit down to take stock of their life, of their potentials, of their abilities, of their resources, of their relationships. So it starts from there. Personal leadership starts with you sitting down and having a conversation with yourself. First of all, identity. Who are you? Who am I? Because your identity is your strength. Your identity is your strength. When you don't understand your identity, you will mismanage your life. You will misinvest your time and your resources. So it starts from there. Identity. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? They came to tell John the Baptist, or they came to ask him, are you Jesus Christ? Or are you Elijah? He said, I am neither Jesus Christ, neither am I Elijah. He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness. Make straight the path. That means he understood himself. He also understood his assignment. And you remember that the Bible said that he was in the wilderness until the day of his showing unto Israel. While he was in the wilderness, he was having conversation with himself. He was getting to know who am I, what is my assignment. All right. So sit down with yourself, have conversation around your life. Who am I? Who am I? Then to make it simple, or to make it simple and simplify it, how do you have this conversation with yourself? You do that by various means, by acquiring information, by gathering knowledge, by having exposure, by reading, and by meditating. In fact, by having conversation with others. It was Elon Musk. They asked him, how were you able to achieve this? How did you come to the stature you have grown to? How did you grow into this stature? He said, anyone can become anything if you read a lot and you have conversation with people. That means you communicate with people, you listen to others, you observe people, you observe things and situations around you. So when you read a lot of books, a lot of information is hidden. A huge information is hidden in books. So we deprive ourselves a lot when we don't read. In fact, many breakthroughs I've had in my life, in my intellectual, in my mental, in my mentality, they came from reading books. So sit down with yourself, have conversation around your life, acquire information, gather knowledge by reading books, by attending conferences like this, by giving yourself exposures. Just travel to places that you know that there are some places you know that when you get there, something will drop in your life. I know those places that if I enter into this area, something will change in me. And I know those places I will enter into, I know those things I will expose myself to that will kill something in me. So exposure is key and critical. You remember that when God wanted to send Abraham, when God wanted to deal with Abraham, one of the first things he dealt with was his identity. Who are you? He changed his name from Abraham to Abraham, connoting a sense of his assignment. All right. Another thing he did was to expose Abraham. He said, leave your father's house, leave your family, leave your kindred. And I want to take you somewhere. I want to show you something. One night he said, come out. Abraham, look up. What do you see? And Abraham saw stars. He saw millions of stars. Constellations. He saw them. And God began to define his identity for him. That is exposure. Exposure. He exposed him. And that thing changed his mindset. It changed his mentality. All right? It changed him. It was an exposure. Stop with him. He formed the basis of his life, his existence, and his assignment. Exposure. You remember Joseph too. God also gave him an exposure. He said, this is what you are going to become. He showed him a dream, he showed him a vision. And from that vision, he got his exposure. And that exposure stopped with him. He knew where he was going. He knew how to conduct himself. Personal leadership from exposure, from identity. When his brothers came and they were lamenting, we are sorry, we didn't know what you were doing. We sold you, we did it. He said, don't worry, you thought you sold me here. But what happens is that God sent me here to preserve a posterity. Identity. Identity. So who am I? Who are you? In fact, I learned something that one of the most powerful phrases in life is the two word I am. A-I-A-M. I am. I am is one of the strongest word or phrase in the world because it connotes identity. It connotes who you are. It connotes your sense of worth. It connotes and represents your identity. So have that conversation around yourself. Sit down. He sat down with himself. I love if you read that Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 4, from verse 1 to 5. When he heard that, he sat down with himself. He began to communicate with himself. Then he stepped into action. Then the next thing you do when you sit down is that you engage yourself in refining the knowledge that you have acquired. Refine your knowledge. Knowledge in our life is like raw materials. You know that when you have raw materials are almost of use to no one until it is refined or until they are refined and until the best is brought out of them. So when you sit down with the knowledge that you have acquired, imagine me reading many books and I don't jot, I don't take anything down. I am just reading and reading and reading without sitting down to actually digest, to meditate, and to refine on these things. They will remain raw materials. Don't speak about them. But there's something about meditation. Meditation is the refining process of the knowledge that you have acquired. When you explore crude oil from the underground, from the underwater, you take that crude oil at that state is useless. It cannot generate energy. It cannot power our mechanical devices. But when this crude oil is subjected to the process called refining, you begin to get byproducts and finished products like AGO, like PMS, and like what have you. I mean petrol, diesel, and the likes. So at that point, you can then apply your petrol in your car or in your vehicle, as the case may be. Then this refined product can begin to power your vehicle, can begin to cause your vehicle to accelerate, to move. So also in our life, when we get knowledge, knowledge comes as raw materials. We sit down on them and process that knowledge. We contextualize the knowledge. Because sometimes you can be reading something in another clime and does not directly relate to your life. It does not directly relate to your atmosphere. It does not directly relate to your climate. It does not directly relate to where you are. So what you do with those knowledge is that you contextualize them, you refine them, you sit over them, you refine them, you think over them, and you meditate on them. Still coming back to what God told Nehemiah. Is it Nehemiah? No, sorry, Joshua. He said, this book of the law, this knowledge that you have acquired, this knowledge I've handed over to you, it is knowledge. But as far as this book is concerned, it will not automatically give you good success. You have to refine it, you have to sit on it, you have to meditate on it. When you have meditated on it, it enters into your subconscious. And when it enters into your subconscious, whatever enters into our subconscious, begin to form our control system. They begin to join, they begin to form a neural pathway in us that automatically dictates to us how we behave and how we act on the outside. So when you see some people acting irrationally, they are acting based on certain commands that has entered into their system. When someone is drunk, he has taken something in his system, and that drink begin to direct his activity, begin to direct his life. So we are a sum total of our thoughts. In fact, our actions come from our thoughts. Our thoughts elicit our actions. So personal leadership prioritizes his thoughts, prioritizes his subconscious. It prioritizes the strength and the power of his mind. Personal leadership. So sit with yourself, gather knowledge, get exposures, and not only that, refine what you have got. And it is your responsibility to source for raw materials, just like I said. Source for them by exposures and the likes. Let me also mention something about personal leadership. You know, when you have all these things, they can generate a vision. The knowledge you have acquired, the exposures you have acquired can generate a vision for you. So personal leadership is also incumbent and has vision as its foundation. You must have vision. You must have vision. All right. So vision simply means a mental picture of what you want to do and what you want to achieve. Vision. Nehemiah had a vision to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. The burnt down game, he had that was his vision, to just bring the restoration back to his land. That is vision. So vision is central, vision is fundamental. In fact, the Bible says that where there is no vision, the people perish. So when somebody lacks the ingredient of personal leadership, you don't only destroy yourself, you destroy a lot of people. Imagine if Nehemiah have not risen up to take that step, to take that action, to have a vision to fulfill and to pursue. The people might have just been in ruins, in dilapidation, and in destruction. But when a man rises up to have a vision, and you know, vision most time comes with exposure. When you're exposed, you can generate vision. For instance, do you know that you may not have exposure about financial solutions? If one, you don't have knowledge about the financial system of a nation, of a people, you don't understand the financial institution, how it works. You know, there are many people who have brought solutions to our financial bottlenecks and problems. In fact, there was a time that when you want to pay money, you have to enter into bank. But today you want to pay money to certain institutions, just use your remitter. So remitter brought what is called financial solution. People like InterSwitch, they brought financial solution. Quick Teller, financial solution. Flutterwave, financial solution. And many more like that. In fact, your Popular OP, they brought in financial solutions. But do you know that you may never conceive that vision if you are not exposed to system like that? I don't know if someone is getting what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that exposure elicits vision. Exposure generates vision. All right. And that's why God gave Abraham an exposure. He gave Joseph an exposure. In fact, even the Nehemiah we are talking about, he gave him an exposure. When Nehemiah was in the diaspora, maybe possibly he saw the way things were working in that palace where he was, in the government house. That's an exposure. And he gained that confidence, he gained that privilege, he gained that exposure and knowledge and understanding to go and then build and rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. Exposure. Right? Then have the vision, have the conviction, right? But conviction, that is confidence, assurance. Because as a leader that you want to succeed, you must be convinced of your success. You must be convinced of your vision. Have the conviction of your vision. Now, I was meditating yesterday and I wrote it on Facebook. I said, have the conviction of your vision. In fact, I was having a conversation with someone. I am the founder of Toad Network. And Toad Network, what we do at Toad Network is we have a vision to raise excellent leaders that will be committed to nation building. That is the vision. But you know that many people have been coming to us and say, this guy, you have interest in politics. What you are doing, the way you are doing, it's like you want to go into politics. When we talk about leadership, it is unfortunate that people's mind go to politics. And leadership is not limited to political leadership, for God's sake. And them, because it is the way people have come to define, the kind of definition and picture people have come to give to leadership. Politics. Somebody wants to go for an elective position and he wants to contest. The next thing the person will do is that he will begin to create a foundation. For instance, let's say I want to go into politics, I say, okay, Sijuade Adeyeye Foundation. And the foundation will begin to do some things in the community. It is then we know that we have time, we want to respond to the needs of the community. But where have you been in your teenage years? The community you didn't remember. It is when you feel that, when you now remember that I want to go into politics, it is then you are now saying, okay, I have a foundation. Let's start doing extramural lessons for students. Let's start giving something to the widows. Let's start empowering the youth. But that vision is a limited vision. It's getting you somewhere. You understand? So have a conviction of your vision. That So when people talk, I said this vision is greater than what people are saying. Politics. Not that we are afraid of politics. If God calls us into politics, we'll go into it. If God says there is a need for us, if there's something He wants to use us for there, we'll gladly oblige. But a vision is wider than what people are thinking. So someone was having a conversation with me recently and said, you need to gather influence. What you are doing. Say what you are doing is like, yes, I need to give you influence, but a time will come that they will give you political appointments. In fact, he was telling me to keep gathering my momentum so that they can give me political appointments. And I was angry in my spirit. I look at that statement, political appointments. Political appointments. Remember, this vision God has given to us is greater and higher than any political appointment they can give. They will give you political appointment. 4 years, 8 years, you are done. Then what becomes your life? So your vision is what preoccupies you for the rest of your life. Wherever you find yourself, whether in the political office or outside of politics. So have a conviction of your vision. The same Nehemiah we are talking about. As a personal leadership, he had a conviction of his vision. He had that conviction of his vision. So people came to meet him and they came to discourage him. I said, this thing, what are you building? Look at the wall you are building. Even if a bird should patch on it, everything will just fall. But you know that if this guy was not convinced about his vision, maybe at that point he might have neglected it. In fact, there were many distractions that came. Different distractions from different places. Just to quench his vision. But Nehemiah was determined. He said, I am doing a good work. Conviction of your vision. Because when you are not convinced about your vision, people will dissuade you. You will be distracted, and your vision will be thwarted. It will be wasted. It will be nullified. And that's why Jesus Christ said, I have set my face like a flint. Conviction. They said, Jesus, come and become king. No. I know we have been called to become king. Conviction of his vision. Then the next thing is conviction of your purpose. I mean, of your potential. Conviction of your potential. I'll begin to round up in the next few minutes. Conviction of your, have a conviction of your potential. What do you have? Many of us, whatever will become great in our life is already in our hands now. In a little way, in an inconsequential way, that we are not taking cognizance of. What do you have? What are your resources? Remember Moses when he wanted to cross the Red Sea? God asked him, what is this in your hand? So that means what he needed to cross the Red Sea was already in his hand. He stretched it and the sea parted. It's already in his hand. Jesus Christ wanted to feed people. He asked him, what do you have? He said, 2 fishes and 5 loaves. He said, that one is enough, bring it. And he multiplied it. What you have is enough. You remember that Zarephath, that widow of Zarephath? She had something in her house that was multiplied. What you have is enough. Personal leadership. So personal leadership also has to do with recognizing and having a conviction of our potential, our resources. David, when David got to the battlefield, when Goliath was molesting and harassing the soldiers, the armies of the army of Israel, David was angry. He said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that is defying the armies of God, of Israel? And they almost persuaded him, his elder brothers, who we think should know better. Say, look at you. You are very proud. We've always known you. Umambe, you are too forward. Even from home, you are too forward. And David said, is there not a cause? I understand what I'm saying. I know what I have. I know what I have to deal with this person. Okay, when he eventually persuaded them, so now say, okay, take this garment. This is my garment of battle. Take it upon yourself. This is my armor of battle. Take it upon yourself and go and confront this Goliath. David put it on and said, I've not used this before. And he took what he was used to, that sling and a stone. What you have in your hand. The sling and the stone in your hand that you are despising has the capacity to give a global relevance or to lead on a global scale. If you have a conviction of your potential, of your resources, of your associations, and what have you. So today, begin to take stock. Leadership starts from there. Take stock of all these things. You have a vision. All right, what's the next thing to do? When Nehemiah called that vision, he began to look to maximize his resources, his relationship. He went to meet the king. That's relationship. That's what he has. Say, king, please give me one of your private jeep. I want to go on the jeep. And the king wrote it and gave him everything he needed. That's association. Many of us have powerful association, but we don't know the strength. We don't have the conviction of our association. What some people do with their association is just to ask for urgent 2K. But there's a lot to tap from your association than the handouts that you are getting from them. It's not just about give me. When you maximize your association, in fact, as a leader, there's nothing you can do, almost next to nothing, without the people. Look at the great men in history and in the world today, even from the Bible. These were men who had people around them. Maybe only Samson did not have people, and we saw how he ended. Abraham had people. He had 316, over 300 armed men living in his house. People. And this when he went to rescue his cousin or his nephew, Lot. So have a conviction of your resources, conviction of your vision, conviction of your potential. Just have those convictions. So take ownership of your life. Take ownership of what you have. Then let me quickly say something on planning. I will end this day. Or goal setting. Personal leadership is also rooted in goal setting. Because when you have a vision, you have a task to accomplish. Is how, which comes about goal setting. Goal setting is not just about what you want to achieve, but it also has to do with how you will achieve it or how you will achieve them. So goals are mapped out plans. They are strategies. They are pathways to achieving your vision. You set those goals. So goals are not just for accomplishment, or they are not just when you are setting goals, don't just have an accomplishment in mind. Have action in mind. There are daily routines that are made for accomplishment of goals. And let me tell you something, there's no way you give yourself to daily routines, to things that enhances the fulfillment of your goals, that you won't succeed in life. Our success are hidden in our routines, either daily or perpetual routines. We succeed to the extent to which we give ourselves to the requirements of our goals accomplishment. So there are requirements, there are things, and you know, when you are dealing with goals, it has a lot to do with discipline. Because in this generation, we have a lot of distractions at our hand. You pick your phone, you can be on phone for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then you will not know that time has gone. When you go to TikTok, you are tired of TikTok, WhatsApp. You're tired of WhatsApp, Instagram. Tired of Instagram, Snapchat. Tired of Snapchat, YouTube. You watch reels, and you begin to watch reels, and you know, content, there are millions of content creators in the world today. You see comedy, you see all kinds of things you want there on the internet. But discipline will help us to be focused. Discipline will help us to be committed to accomplishing. Let me quickly say these 4 things about goals and action. We need to be action-oriented, and our action must be immediate. When you have a goal, when you have set your goal, give yourself an immediate action. Procrastinate your action. Don't. So it must be immediate, it must be consistent, and it must be persistent. Your action must be what? Immediate, consistent, and persistent. With this, there will be no devil to stop you. So there are 4 different levels of action that people take. The first level is where people don't take action at all. That's also an action. When you don't take an action, that's also an action. And the second level, according to Grant Cardone from his book 10x Rule, the 10x Rule, you know, the book is about giving yourself 10 times commitment to the fulfillment of your goal than normal or than any other person would do, by Grant Cardone. It's a powerful book. In that book, he gave us 4 levels of action. 1, no action. 2, when you have stopped taking action. You know, they are different. The no action level is when you have stopped taking, you were taking actions before, but you got to a time that you have stopped taking action that brought you. Let's say, for instance, you read 5 books in a day. You gave yourself that goal, that target, that task. I say every day, 5 pages. Every day I'm reading 5 pages of a book. And you gave yourself, you are doing it for a while. After a while, you stopped. So you got to a level of no, there's a name we call it, but it's a level where you get to where you stop taking action. And the 3rd level of action is what you call the normal level action. Normal level action, that is comfort zone. This is the zone where we get to that we take action, but we take normal action. Let's say you have been reading that 5 books, it is consistent, which is good. Which is good. You take normal action. He said many people are on this pedestal, on this step of ladder, where we take normal action. It is the action that make people average. That's the level of action that make people you just coast along in your comfort zone. This is a zone I am. You grab normal action. Then the last type of action is said, he call it active action. That means a level where you take action that is more than necessary, that is more than required. That they begin to say, are you the one that killed somebody? You know what they call in Yoruba parlance, they say how to when you take your religion seriously. So massive action, when you take 10x action. For instance, you are reading 5 pages in a day. When I say at this level, I don't want to read 5 pages. Times 10 or 5, that is 50 pages in a day. He said, when you give yourself to this kind of level of action, he said, you will also see your results. You also see that result. All right. So, personal leadership. I think I will stop here and then we go for question.